We all have that drawer. The one with old phones, outdated laptops, and a tangled mess of chargers that don't go to anything. But have you ever really, truly thought about what happens after you toss them out? Well, today, we're going to follow the trail of our electronic past. And what we're going to find is this massive gap between the rules we've written and the reality on the ground. Let's just start with a number. 62 million. That's how many metric tons of electronic waste the world generated in 2023. Just try to picture that. It's a weight so massive, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. And what's really staggering is that this digital tidal wave, it's only getting bigger. The Global E-Waste Monitor projects this number is going to surge to 82 million tons by 2030. So yeah, this is not a problem that's going away. It is absolutely accelerating. Now, to deal with this, governments all over the world, including in India, which happens to be the world's third largest e-waste producer, they've created these really complex rulebooks. And honestly, on paper, the plan looks pretty solid. The whole thing is built around this core idea called Extended Producer Responsibility, or EPR for short. And put simply, it just means the company that made your phone is also responsible for dealing with it at the end of its life. It's actually a pretty smart concept, right? It makes the entire product life cycle the manufacturer's problem to solve.
And India's rules, which were updated as recently as 2022, have these really clear, modern goals. The whole point is to bring recyclers out of the shadows, make sure the process is safe for the environment, track everything online, and, hold the producers accountable. It all sounds fantastic.
Which, of course, leads us to the big question. If you have this comprehensive framework all set up, what is actually happening in the back alleys and workshops where all this e-waste really ends up? Well, a recent study went looking for an answer. And what they found is startlingly different. So, to find out, researchers went to a place called Bhavnagar, a district in Gujarat, India. It's a place known for shipbreaking, but it's also become a major hub for the informal, totally unregulated e-waste trade. This is where policy meets reality, head-on. And here it is, the first major disconnect. The study surveyed 120 informal e-waste workers. What did they find? Almost 72% had never even heard of the e-waste management rules. Think about that. The very rules meant to govern their work are completely unknown to them.
And, it gets even deeper. An incredible 90% of these workers had no idea which government body is even in charge of enforcement. Is it the Pollution Control Board, the local municipality? They have no clue. It is a total breakdown in communication.
So it's really no surprise then that almost 9 out of 10 workers are operating without any kind of business license or official registration. For all intents and purposes, they're completely invisible to the system that was designed to include them. They're a ghost workforce.
And this invisibility comes at a devastating human cost. Without any oversight, dangerous extraction methods are just normal. Over half the workers use open burning to melt away plastic to get to the valuable metals inside. And the result? A shocking number of them report severe health problems, from chronic respiratory issues to painful skin burns. A huge reason for this is just, wow, it's shockingly simple. 2/3 of these workers never use any protective gear. No gloves, no masks, no goggles, nothing. They're handling toxic materials with their bare hands and breathing in carcinogenic fumes every single day.
And perhaps most disturbingly, when researchers did field observations of 7 informal e-waste sites there in Bhavnagar, they found evidence of child labor at 4 of them. Children, just right there, dismantling components, exposed to the exact same hazards as the adults.
So why? Why is this happening? Why do these comprehensive, well-intentioned rules just completely fall apart when they reach the ground? Well, the study really digs into the systemic reasons for this whole breakdown.
One quote from an interview in the study just sums up the entire problem perfectly. The policy makes sense on paper, but it never actually makes the journey into the communities where the work is being done. Look, the failure isn't down to just one thing. It's a cascade. Government agencies are confused about who's in charge. Inspections, they rarely, if ever, happen. The rules themselves are written for big corporations, not for a family-run operation. And the workers themselves, well, they're afraid that registering will just lead to taxes and harassment. The contrast is just stark. The policy aims for formal authorization, but reality, nearly 90% of workers are unlicensed. The policy calls for safe methods, but in reality, open burning is the norm. It requires oversight, but over 80% have never seen a single inspector. It's a system that is failing on every single key metric. But this isn't a story without hope. The research doesn't just point out all the problems, it actually illuminates a path forward, a way to build a bridge between these two completely separate worlds.
And this is the crucial insight. The informal workforce isn't the problem. They aren't resistant to change at all. A strong majority, 65%, say they would register if the process were just free and simple. And get this, nearly 3/4 are willing to attend free training. They are asking for a way in.
So the study recommends this really clear 5-step path. It starts with actually talking to these communities in their own language. It involves creating simple, incentive-based programs, not punitive ones. It means providing the basics, like protective gear and health checkups. And maybe most importantly, it means bringing this invisible workforce to the table and actually integrating them into the solution.
Which really leaves us with a final thought. We've created this mountain of electronic waste from our past. And maybe, just maybe, the answer to managing it for a cleaner future isn't about writing stricter rules from an office far away. Maybe it's about recognizing, supporting, and integrating the hidden workforce that's already dealing with it day in and day out.